election. And what's shocking is that the lesson that our local officials have taken from the election of Hope and Change is our mayor proposes a $200 million jail. And then our superintendent, Maria Goodlow-Johnson of the Seattle Public Schools, is closing 5 schools and disrupting 13 other educational programs, right? That's hope and change to Seattle's city officials, right? They say that we don't have the money to do this, right? We just don't have the money to keep the schools open. There's a $25 million budget shortfall in the Seattle Public Schools, we're told, and the money doesn't exist to keep these schools open. They have to be shut down. I think the first thing we have to say is when there is $700 billion to give away at the snap of the fingers to CEOs and bankers who sabotage the economy in the first place, when we have $100,000 a minute to spend on the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, right? When we can give billions of dollars in aid to Israel to go and lay waste to Gaza. When there's 200 million... I found a quote the other day from Victor Hugo, the playwright, who once said, "He who opens a school door closes a prison." And American author and humorist Mark Twain pointed it out like this. He said, every time you stop a school, you'll have to build a jail. What you gain on one end, you lose on the other. It's like trying to feed a dog on his tail end. It won't fatten the dog. And the American Economic Review, one of the longest-running journals in the field, confirmed Twain's assertion. They recently published this statistic that I think we should all commit to memory. A 1% increase in the high school completion rate of all men ages 20 to 60 would save the United States as much as $1.4 billion per year and reduce costs from crime incurred by victims of society at large. Additionally, the Alliance for Education, and a Washington, D.C. based policy organization, calculated that if Washington State increased its graduation rate by 5%, Washington State, the annual crime-related savings would be over $50 million, right? So I think isn't it great when a D.C. think tank confirms common sense? It's fantastic, but Washington State refuses to look at this common sense, right? And despite our Constitution, the Washington State Constitution says it's the paramount duty of our state to fully fund education. And then, on top of that, we have legislation, the Basic Education Act that was passed in 1977, that mandates that the state of Washington fully fund education, give 50% of the budget to our children's education and futures. And they've been out of compliance with that law for quite a while. Okay? And right now it's been below 35% of the state budget for some time. And I want to share this with you. Washington State ranks 46th in the nation in per pupil